to Rebooting Liberty.
I'm about to whip somebody's ass. Oh, I'm about to whip somebody's ass. Oh, if you don't leave me alone, you're gonna have to send me home, 'cause I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator.
Classified my ass.
Government is another way to say better than you.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Revear Common Sense Show.
Want the Sackheads to give you a blessing?
8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
And welcome back to the Revear, welcome back, oh my god, oh, what a way to start the show. Welcome to the Revear Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe. How's everybody doing this morning, afternoon? It is All Hallows Eve. Anybody have plans for tonight? Because I don't, I'm staying home. We have a guest coming in, well, calling in today, I should say, and they haven't called in yet, waiting for the phone to ring. So until then, we'll do our normal little happy stuff and go over some news. So, everybody ready to have a heart attack? Marco Rubio showed up in the Senate last night. Yes, Marco Rubio actually showed up and voted. I'm about to have a heart attack here. Yeah, I'm about really to have a heart attack. Of course, he had to cancel an event today. The vote wasn't until like 3 a.m. Our politicians went and did one of those. Hang on. Late night, we're going to hide everything behind the back because no one's going to be up. No one will care. Votes at 3 a.m. So, of course, he had to get some sleep. You know, he couldn't go on just a couple hours sleep like the rest of us in the everyday jobs. I mean, it doesn't matter if we were at our job and we're up late. Hey, they're going to want us there the next day. What does he think? If he's the president, something happens, you know, he's going to be able to sleep in the next day? Well, that's something Obama would do. But Rubio fought off an attack after his Senate voting record on Wednesday's night debate was with former Florida Jeb Bush, his former mentor in the sunshine. Hold on one second. All right, everybody, and it's our guest. Do you want to announce yourself?
Good afternoon. This is Rod Eccles. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to have you on my show, sir. Heard so much
Thanks
about
for
you the
having
last
me.
couple of months.
Well, I hope it's all good.
Yeah, Laura, she speaks very highly of you. You got a good person there.
She's a good one, definitely.
Oh, yeah. She's a pistol. And she's not afraid to go after the liberals.
No, no, she's not.
While I was waiting for you to call in, I was going over, I don't know if you heard, but you ready to have a heart attack? Senator Mark Rubio actually wound up in the Senate last night and voted.
Yeah, well, yeah, he had to show up for that vote, at least.
Well, I think he just showed up because all the grief that he got on Wednesday night, I'm going to show them.
That, and I think it really was an important vote, not that it was going to change anything one way or the other.
Exactly. From my understanding, you have your own show too, right?
Yes, I do.
All right. And you go around, you do a lot of speaking engagements.
I have. I'm just about finishing up this year's speaking tour, I guess you could call it. I have one more to do down in Worcester, Massachusetts in November.
Oh, nice. And I'm trying to go over my notes to find, because I don't want to say something that's not right. I believe you have a book, too?
I do have a book. It is called The Conservative Ecclesiastes.
God bless you.
Basically, it's basically a play on my last name in the book of Ecclesiastes, and it's just political wisdom and logic.
Okay. I'm going to have to get that and take a read. Right now I'm in the middle of the 13 Hours, the Benghazi book from Chris Pronto, Mark Geis, and I keep forgetting John's last name. Oh, my God. But, yeah, I'm going over that book. Just ran into Chris a month or two ago, and he gave me the book, so it's actually pretty good. John Teagan.
Uh-huh.
Have you had a chance to read that book yet?
I have not. As you probably understand and know, that because you probably get a lot of requests to read books, I get a ton of them.
Oh, this
it's hard to get. I wish I was a speed reader. I can't read like 50,000 words a minute. So
it takes me, I'll read like 2 or 3 pages here, 2 or 3 pages there. I never was one for sitting down and actually reading a book, but this one's actually is a good one. It's the true account of Benghazi from the survivors.
Oh, yes. I think I've heard about that one. I have not had a chance to grab a copy and peruse it yet.
Yeah, that one is, it gives actual first-person views of everything that happened that night from the people that were there, not politicians blowing smoke everybody's backside. So, they don't hold back.
No, you would think that you would hear more from, well, I guess the reason why we don't hear more from the people that were actually there on the ground is because they would be telling the truth, which would not match up with the administration's account of what happened.
Oh, exactly. The 3 of them, Chris, John, and Mark, have been wanting to go to the Senate committee, and they have not at this time gotten invite. But they have spoken off the record to several of the senators about what happened. Yeah, it's a good book. You ought to get it. And I was listening to one of your shows last night, and you go over something that I'm actually very passionate about and talk very often, the global warming. And you had talked about that new study that say, the high CO2 levels are causing people to be dumber.
Yes, that was a Harvard study, and I actually, my brain kind of hurt reading about that. So
yeah, that was kind of scary. But when it comes to these cultists, and I refer more to the global warming as a cult, they remind me exactly as a cult. If you don't agree with them, you get attacked. Something John Koresh would have thought up.
This is straight out of the Solowinski Rules for Radicals book, and it's also pretty much a play on what communism is all about. You basically put out something, and it doesn't matter if it's true or not. If people don't believe it, then you just denigrate them to the point where they're denigrated into silence. What the left has underestimated is the blowback from global warming and how people are not buying into it. In fact, they're noticing that the number of people who do believe in it is dropping because people are experiencing it for real life. Now, if you've noticed, a lot of these dire predictions are no longer being predicted within our lifetime. Now they're being smarter about it and putting it out, past our probable lifetime. So they say by the year 2100, this is going to happen instead of the year 2020, because we'll be able to live it and see it and then realize that they're full of BS. But if we say that this dramatic, dangerous thing is going to happen in the year 2100 with your grandchildren, well, now we don't have a realistic way to view that because most of us won't be here in the year 2100. So they're playing on our fears.
Yeah, well, they try to. I mean, I love the one, and I was talking to my guest Wednesday night about it. And I'm originally I was raised in Jersey, born in Pennsylvania, and I had my EMS partner on, and we'd love to go back and forth. And I was talking about New York that, what was it, June or July of this past summer, they predicted in 2007 that New York would be underneath like 15 feet of water.
Yeah, we've come and gone. It's kind of like the religious fanatics that talk about the end of days, Armageddon. They know exactly when it's going to happen. And, 1999 came and went, we're still here. 2000 came and went, we're still here. I think there was one for 2004 and 2007, we're still here. And the same thing happened with the global warming set. And I remember back in the 70s and 80s, they were telling us that by the year 2000, if we did not change back then, we were going to be in an ice age, a new man-made caused ice age, and they called it global cooling. And I mentioned that today, and people look at me like I have two heads, and they accuse me of lying. And I said, well, just go back and look. There was even a television special. They were indoctrinating kids back then with a Dr. Seuss special called The Incredible Mr. Lorax, and it was a 30-minute cartoon that they aired every year for about 8 years on primetime TV as a special.
I remember that.
Yes, we were going to be because we were using too much natural resources that was going to cause us to go into a new ice age caused by us. And when they saw that the planet wasn't actually cooling down, that's when, in the early 80s, that's when they flipped and called it global warming. It's nothing new.
No, I'm not. I haven't announced it yet, but I've been actually working on a book myself about the global warming cult and all the predictions. And that's one of the things I bring up is I remember growing up, I was born in 71. I remember hearing about we're going into a global ice age. Then it was, we're going to be fried because the ozone layer is disappearing. So we're going to be like frying like bacon. Then it was, that's fixed. What's the next thing we could say? Oh, it's warming up. My grandfather was a farmer. And one of the things that he relied most on was using his head. And number 2, he would go by the Farmer's Almanac. And that thing is, it doesn't predict, precisely, okay, it's going to rain this day, but it has a pretty good prediction rate of what's going to happen that year.
Yeah, and when you talk about this kind of stuff with somebody who believes in this global, well, now, again, because global warming hasn't taken place, they've had to change the name of it again. And they think that they've gotten it this time, that there's no need to change now. Now it's man-made, global man-made climate change.
That's a mouthful.
Well, yeah, well, they can't say climate. Well, they do try to shorten it and say climate change, but the problem is that this planet in man's history has been both warmer and colder than it is now, and obviously, the Industrial Revolution period is only about 150, 200 years old, so we couldn't have possibly have caused global cooling or global warming, say, back in the 1500s or the 1200s or, the first century or even 6000 BC. So how did the Earth do that then when mankind couldn't have been the culprit? Well, they have to try to get around that and say, well, this time it's happening more severely and more rapidly. Again, scientifically speaking, change has occurred in the past before the Industrial Revolution at a faster and slower pace than it is happening now.
Well, you have archaeologists and a bunch of different other scientists that have proven, looking at trees and looking at soil samples, they've been able to tell, okay, this was a really strong winter, this one was a hot winter, It's been proven over and over through thousands of years we've been going through this. It's just called Mother Nature